The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Happy Monday, boys and girls. What's up? Welcome into another episode, another week of the Bostonian versus the Book. Dave Sharapan, the Book, Matt Perrault, the Bostonian, live, YouTube, Twitter, at Boston versus the Book, replay on Sports Grid TV and Sirius XM channel 159. Conspiracy theories, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, and is Zach Wilson any good? Plus baseball. Dave, you're wearing the team that choked. What is this? The Mariners? How are you on a Monday?
Seattle stuff I got. It's the only Seattle stuff I got. I ain't got. Oh no, actually, I do have Kraken stuff. That's hockey though. That's next week. I got this a long time ago, but I can't keep it on because it messes up the camera.
Oh,
this bright Seahawks something hat. It's the only Seahawks thing I got. This was $2. It's very.
It looks like
it's one of them. $2. It was $2. I said
like
I gotta have it just in case they ever get good again.
Patrick Cantlay hat.
I have it. Yeah, it's well, Patrick Cantlay wouldn't even wear it. Keep it like this right now for a minute. They didn't choke. They lost. The other teams won. I mean, they had opportunities to win. They couldn't do it. And then, we'll get into the baseball here in a second.
Rangers choked though.
Well, they could have won and then been a division. Yeah, that we'll get into that too. I mean, how was your takeaway from the Taylor Swift? Like, we got to get into that right away.
Hold on. Wait. But before we do that, because that's a longer conversation. So let's hold on. I just want at the top. I just want to say something about Tim Wakefield really quick before we get into something lighthearted, because
please. Yes.
I'm not in really a lighthearted mood at the moment. We'll get into a lighthearted mood, but Tim Wakefield passing away over the weekend, the speed in which this happened, from which we learned of the illness from Kurt Schilling stealing the story from the Wakefield family, to finding out that Tim Wakefield passed away over the weekend. I'm still kind of processing it, how quickly it happened, but he's a guy. It's you covered him in Pittsburgh. I watched him with the Red Sox. Some of my more, searing memories of Tim Wakefield, obviously not the greatest of ones, which is the home run he gave up to Aaron Boone in the 2003 ALCS, but so many amazing closing opportunities he had. And just when he became part of the Red Sox, it was like Wakefield was the yin and Pedro was the yang. You had 98, 100 and with movement, and 60 with ridiculous movement. And watching those two guys sometimes pitch in the same game was unbelievable. And the outpouring of emotion from his teammates. I mean, Jason Varitek, you tweeted it this morning. I posted it over the weekend. There are some people who are really in shock at what happened. He died of brain cancer. In case you did not know the story, we learned, unfortunately, from Kurt Schilling's podcast that Tim was sick with brain cancer. That was not known. And 3 days after he passed away?
Incredible. The whole thing, got up yesterday to watch the Ryder Cup and, root for Jacksonville and Atlanta and the right result for our guy, Z, and all this other stuff. And it was like, boom, Tim Wakefield just died. What? And I texted with a couple people, JD, our guy back in Boston, big Red Sox guy. I mean, he was just like, what? He didn't know. And then Raymaker Lou and I were texting. That was a guy that we saw in Pittsburgh in that summer of 1992. He captivated the whole place. And that was the year they should have gone to the World Series, was a game away from going and lost to the Braves. But he never they cut him the next year. He had almost a 6 ERA, couldn't get anybody out. The knuckleball wasn't working. But you follow his career because he brought so much joy and excitement and was such a out of nowhere thing that, we all had a soft spot for Boston. Like even fans that didn't like the Red Sox liked Tim Wakefield.
Right.
Because he threw it like you would hope you would throw it, just playing catch. Like he was, every kid was trying to throw a knuckleball. Like, look, if he could do it and get in the big leagues, you can do it. Just learn how to throw that pitch really, really good. So, and then, you got to listen to him do games and stuff. I didn't really get to listen to him do games till I moved here and got the package and saw him do it for a little while. Just a cool dude. And I don't know, when I tweeted Veritek's response, it was like, I just hope in life, you can only hope that people will talk about you like that when you're gone. But my reminder of that with like my dad having brain cancer and how the life can change just like that is tell people how you feel about them while they're alive. Right? Like that's the thing that I took away. Like all this outpouring and the support and all this other stuff is going to be what it is. And I'm sure he knew because people in his
they
life,
did. Yeah. Just Catherine Veritek, his wife's response to Kurt Schilling let us know that they knew.
Right.
Like she said, F you, Kurt Schilling, you had no right to do that.
Right.
So like, the close inner circle knew, but nobody on the broad outside of the tight-knit family circle had any idea.
Right. And again, that's their prerogative. That's their choice, not someone else's to make. If you ask them and say, hey, can we tell people that this is no, don't. Okay. Well, as long as I love you, that's good. I'd love to tell the world so they can tell you while you're still here. You don't want to do that. People are private. You respect their wishes. But yeah, it was a sad thing. It was like, he's not much older than me. 56 or 57, I think he is.
Yeah, he
so
was 57,
way too young. Just one of those things, man. You just kind of wish their family well. Condolences to everybody that knew him, covered him, was a teammate with him, was just, worked with him with charity. He did charity work and all this other stuff. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was a big part of the Boston, New England family. He was out and about, constantly seen, constantly doing things, doing games on Nesson. Like you saw Wakefield around. Like he was not out of the public spotlight. Once he left, he was still very much there. And you compound that with this is not nearly as big of a story because Tim Wakefield had a bigger role in Patriots, or I guess in New England sports, but former Patriot player Russ Francis passed away over the weekend. And if you're old enough in the 70s, I never saw him play. I just knew Russ Francis as my dad would tell me what he was like in the 70s as a tight end, how difficult he was to guard. And I knew him as the guy that was the former Patriot that was all over the media all the time. He started a bunch of businesses and was very successful as a businessman in New England. After he left, his plane went down over the weekend and he passed away. So it was a tough weekend for former Boston, New England sports icons.
He was one of the guys that I remember, like the Steelers playing against him, watching highlights of Russ Francis, Steve Grogan,
Irving Fryer, Moses Tupu, yep.
Yeah, John Hanna.
Yep. Hall of Famer.
Stanley Morgan. There were guys that I remember. He was one of them. I saw that this morning and I was like, wow. Like we're at the age now where we remember, these guys as warriors, professional athletes. Guys you watched on TV and looked up to. And it's just another reminder, man. Time doesn't stop, and you really have to appreciate every day. That's for sure.
Okay, so now let's get to it. What happened this weekend and the Taylor Swift story from yesterday. NBC couldn't get enough of it. Look, I'm going to restate it again. I hope I'm wrong. I hope these two are just over the moon for each other. I hope this is two star-crossed lovers. They're going to go on and create an awesome story. It's Tom and Giselle 2.0, and I would love nothing less for this to happen. But being the media person that I am, somebody needs to do me a favor, and somebody needs to find out, when did Taylor Swift buy the two commercials on Sunday Night Football for her movie that aired last night? I need to know that, because if that happened a couple of months ago, because remember, this game was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes. This game has been sold out since last year when Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets.
Okay.
This was the game. If you were an advertising executive, this was prime real estate. This was the most coveted of coveted spots to have an ad running during this game because everyone thought the Jets were going to be 2-1, 3-0. Chiefs would be 3-0. Here's Aaron Rodgers. It's in New York.
It is.
She's running advertisements for the movie in Times Square, in which NBC has shots of the advertising in Times Square for Taylor Swift's movie.
Oh,
it's all too perfect. I'm sorry. It's just too coordinated for my liking. And maybe I'm dead wrong. And maybe it's all coming together quickly. And maybe it's all just an amazing lightning in a bottle event that everyone's all about. But when those ads ran last night during the game, I went, oh no. And then I saw the live shots with the advertisements in Times Square and I went, uh-oh. Okay. And then I saw Nathan Hubbard, who is a guy who does a podcast on Taylor Swift with Nora Princiati for The Ringer, tweet out that, man, if you're a conspiracy theorist, there's a lot to chew on here during this game.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it always, of course, but it's, I mean, for me, it's secondary to the game. Like that's
sure.
It's always secondary to the game. It's
even you asked me before the game, though. Before you asked the game question, you asked me a Taylor Swift question. It's the
just
normal
want to get
thing.
it done and out of the way because I think this is like a lot of things. The media makes a bigger deal about it than the people do.
Oh,
like, I
disagree
think there's
with
a
you.
lot. I don't know. I think there's a lot of like, you know.
Did you notice how they were doing the game last night? How they were explaining the game of football? There was a very big difference the way they call the game on Sunday Night Football normally and the way they were calling that game last night. That was a different audience they were speaking to last night.
Yeah, I don't know.
Collinsworth was being overly analytical about the way he was describing things. Chirico was being very pro Taylor on everything they were saying, pro Kelsey and everything they were saying.
He didn't have a very good game.
No, he did not. And the Chief fans, I tweeted it this morning. I was absolutely rolling. I got up. First thing I do normally, I just check my phone. I flipped on Facebook for the first time. And the Chief fans I know from Omaha, I was absolutely dying. They're 100% blaming her.
Sebastian Anthony just came in the chat and said, I watched Rocky and Mickey said women weaken legs.
And that's,
I guess we know why Travis didn't have a TD now, don't we?
Here's the thing. The team is distracted. Since Taylor has shown up, the team has not performed very well. Travis looks mentally exhausted. These are all the excuses being placed on Taylor Swift, which is so wrong because with Taylor, they blew out the team they played with Taylor the first time she was there. But the second time, now it's all too much.
Yeah.
Come on. That's nonsense. I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, if they start losing, they're going to blame Taylor Swift. You can already see it.
God.
They're going to say it's her fault.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's so wrong. It's got nothing to do with Taylor Swift. It's awesome.
I don't have any. Somebody said it. They'd be interested to see the effect of like Taylor Swift or these things like, this is a big social media thing. This is all over the place.
Yep.
It's going to come in like everything else with social media. Big bang. It'll be, blah, 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 blah. And then it's going to go out. People will just
unless
be done.
I would agree. Unless we hear like Chris Collinsworth say that the two of them driving away in a convertible was the greatest thing he'd ever seen, which I was like, Chris,
a little too much hyperbole.
I was like, please stop.
Little too much there.
This is the dumbest. Like, that's the greatest thing you've ever seen is two people driving away in a convertible. He's like, she's so wanted. She drives in bulletproof cars and blah, blah. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, she's not the president. She's a pop star. All right. They drove to a party that was literally a couple miles down the road. Like, what do you think? Some Russian mafia is going to come in and kidnap her and hold her for ransom? Like, what the hell are we doing? Collinsworth I couldn't stand him last night. He was pissing me off left and right with the things he was talking about. I was like, just please shut up. So just talk about the game. Stop talking about all the things around the game. And then we had this. Because if you want to talk about a game story, well, get ready for the game story.
It was a perfect slide. It was like Trey Turner slide into home. Safe.
The NFL's rigged. Patrick Mahomes could have walked right into the end zone, but there's no way Vegas would have been happy if the Chiefs covered the spread. Turn this crap off. The refrain over and over and over again from gamblers that claimed that Patrick Mahomes were doing the book's bidding, which, by the way, they won by 3, okay? The line was 8.5, 7.5 at some books. If you teased it down, the money line parlays still hit. All the teasers still hit. So
right.
I would agree. The side, there's more money bet on the side than there are teasers and parlays.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that thing swept the board. If you want to be a conspiracy theorist, the Jets winning that game, that would have been the difference. That would have hit the book. That would have hit the public and helped the books a ton if the Jets had won the game outright.
Sometimes the games fall around the number. That's a good number. It's just, I don't know. The thing that has to be looked at is how many times they look like they were not going to have the ball in the last 7 minutes of the game. And then there was a call. And you want to argue about the holding call. I'm here to argue about the referees. I am 100% comfortable saying the referees were ass last night. They were pro Chief. Every call went Casey's way. And then the holding call on Sauce Gardner, which was not holding. There was no holding there. That was a horrific call that kept the football with Kansas City. That gave him the game. Now, the fumble for Zach Wilson, equally problematic. The down 3 has the ball midfield. He fumbles the football, basically gave the game away. The slide was a smart football play. That won the game, that locked up the game. So that was the right thing to do. There's not even a debate. He wasn't trying to win and not cover. The league didn't call down. Nobody called Vegas. I can 100% guarantee you that.
There's more money bet outside of Vegas than in Vegas now in America. We need to stop this whole Las Vegas crap. Okay.
Well,
stop saying
still just what it is. I mean, like
Kleenex, whatever you want to call it, but it's, I get it. Tissue paper to Kleenex, but saying Vegas called it down or Vegas wanted this. It's like, New York has a bigger handle than Vegas does. What are you talking about? The books are based here. Okay. Yeah. Some of them are, some of them aren't. DraftKings and FanDuel aren't. They don't even operate here.
Right.
2 biggest books in legalized America. The 2 biggest books do not operate here in Vegas.
Be interesting if all the books closed in Vegas. I don't know where a lot of people would get the lines from. It'd be pretty wild. That'd be pretty interesting. Yeah. Listen, the NFL has an officiating problem. Period.
Do they ever?
There's and not that it's can be fixed. It just has to be consistent. It's not consistent from quarter to quarter, let alone game to game. You watch one game and stay on it for a while, you can see the way it's being called is not the same. The same thing can happen in 2 different stadiums. One's a penalty and one's not. Or they let so much go in one game where they're calling penalties in another game. I don't know. I was trying to watch Tampa and the Saints and Miami and Buffalo. I felt like I was watching 2 different sports. I mean, it was, and again, the style of play can be very different from week to week, from team to team and stadium to stadium. But I have no idea, none, what pass interference is anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just, and then there's times you see replays and stuff where you're just like, okay, they're going to overturn that. And then they go, oh, call on the field stands, and the call on the field was wrong. And the guy upstairs just confirmed that the call was wrong by keeping it the same. And you're like, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. So
I still think there should be an eye in the sky override ability. I still think there should be somebody who can signal down to the guys and say, you're wrong. You're wrong. That's not, you're wrong. It's not, it has to be like the language has to be like egregious, clear missed call type of situation. But last night was egregious and a clear missed call. That was not pass interference and or holding on Sauce Gardner.
I don't know what holding is either, as far as on the offensive line, but it certainly looked like there was a hold on the play that Mahomes got the third down.
Oh my God. I put the video out. Holy.
Yeah, I saw it on your Twitter feed.
Jesus, mother. A guy literally has his jersey being ripped off the shoulder pad.
Just
like that. And they called the flag on the Jets, not on the the flag came out, but the flag came out on the Jets, not on the Chiefs offensive lineman. It was so obvious. Jets were getting held consistently during the last quarter and a half of that game. The Chiefs figured out they're not calling holding against us. Do whatever you want. And they just started to manhandle the pass rush for the Jets.
And again, if that's the way it's called, okay. But then you can't, like, there's no crying about the officiating. It is what it is. I just think as a perception now, everything is under a major eyeglass. Everything. I mean, for it to even be a narrative on social media that Mahomes is sliding and saving protecting the lead, but saving the books and blah, 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 blah. It's all bad. There's no good to come out of any of it.
Nope.
So now, I mean, you watch the replay, the video's available, everybody puts it out right away, and it's like, what is that? That certainly looks, sounds, smells, and is holding. Oh, no, it's not holding on that play, or he didn't see it. Well, how did he not see it? Because the whole world saw it.
Don't know what you're looking for. Somebody wrote underneath my tweet, they responded by saying he wasn't trying hard enough to get away. That's why the refs didn't notice it. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, this is what I have to act like a court jester to go ahead and get you guys get your attention to throw a flag. I got to be doing this whole thing. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I can't just be getting held and you call it because that's your job is to call it.
Well, that's what happened in the NBA, right? And now they flop every time they get touched, and like you have to over exaggerate to get the call.
Right.
You can't do that. I mean, the NHL instituted the diving rule because of that. Said, no, we'll call a penalty when we call a penalty. If you fake or exaggerate that penalty, maybe it was a penalty, but you're going in the box too. I don't know what the answer is exactly. Just consistency is all we ask as people, that not just bettors or books, fans of the game. Just get it right.
I wish the NFL, and I don't know, I once asked Cleet Blakeman this question about college officials. Because Cleet was a Big 12 official when I was in Omaha, and he used to do morning radio a lot. He used to come in and talk on the Todd and Tyler show, so I got to know him when I was doing sports for Todd and Tyler in Omaha before he became an NFL referee. Like, why isn't there like a referee school that we know of? And he's like, well, there is and there isn't. You do games, and then they watch tape, and then I'm like, but why isn't there like a centralized place where referees will go to become, that's their career? And he's like, well, that's not my career. He's a lawyer. He's like, I have a law firm. He's like, I ref on the side. This is like my side gig. We have to stop that. Now, there are some full-time referees in the NFL. There are full-time referees in the NBA. There's full-time referees in college basketball, but the NFL doesn't have full-time across the board officiating crews. Oh. And they should be training like NASCAR teams for pit crews. Like, you should be working year round with your crew.
It's a 20-week gig.
Yep, and it shouldn't be. It should be a year-round thing where you're.
What do you do the rest of the year to pay them as the company? I don't know.
The NFL, they can afford it. It's okay. They can afford it. It's not a big.
I understand. What do? You pay them to stay home and stay in shape?
Yes, you pay them. You pay them to work together, train together. This is what your job is. You want to be an NFL referee? This is your job. There's numerous people that would make it their full-time job if you want to, push out the Cleet Blakemans and the Bill Rabinovich's guys who are, older and have all this money on other avenues. Like, guys, it ain't worth my time. I'm going to go do something else. Great. There's like 15 other people that would take your spot tomorrow to referee full time and work just as a referee. Like, these guys, the only thing they should do is, what's your profession? I'm an NFL referee. And they train year round, and they train with their crew. So they know how each other operates. They know what angles to take. They know in terms of positioning. They know where their guys are going to go. It's just like being part of a team. Like the way you play, you may want the puck on one side of your skate or your stick or the other. You may be more likely to take a slap shot from the point, or you may be more likely to take a wrist shot from the left side. Like it's just human beings working together, knowing tendencies. And these guys don't work together enough. And it's obvious because they don't anticipate other people movements, other guys moving around. And if one guy's out of position, it throws everything off. They don't know what they're doing and they miss calls. And all we get at the end is, sorry, the NFL issues a statement saying a call was missed at the da-da-da-da-da.
It's still a part-time job. And
It shouldn't be.
It's going to be for the foreseeable future. I mean, these guys all have side hustles. They all have real jobs. They all have – I know 2 NCAA officials here in town. One has an insurance agency. One has a
but most of those guys are, at least for 6 months, are full-time. They're on the road a ton. They're all over the place. They
leave on Thursday. They come back on Sunday.
Some of them. I know referees like, Higgins, who is a guy with the floppy hair and everyone talks about him. John Higgins, who's been he's from Omaha. So John Higgins is a guy who I ran in the same circles. He basically works 6 nights a week. He's all over the country. Like his miles it's absolutely insane.
Basketball official?
Yeah, college basketball.
Oh, the basketball officials are different. I'm talking football.
Oh, okay.
I know a couple of college football guys.
Mm-hmm.
They fly on Thursday. They do the game. They go to dinner, whatever, Friday. They all talk. Sometimes you meet a guy for the first time and then you do a game with him on Saturday and then you leave and never see that guy again the rest of the season.
And we ask why they suck. Like, think about that. We ask why
they introduce themselves to each other on Friday at dinner.
Right. That's horrible. That's not the way
they
human beings work.
Division I football game.
Yeah, it's like with us. It's like when you're doing shows with somebody. You meet them for the first time 5 minutes before you go on the air. Here you go. Yeah. Go to a show.
How you doing?
What?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be fun. Hard. It's going to be plastic. It's going to be boring. You're not going to have a relationship with the person. You're not going to know what they like and don't like, how they do things. Where you can give me a topic. You can set me up for something, and I'm going to run with it. I'm the same way with you, and you're going to run with it. We know it. Like you have to have that relationship, and the referees do not have that relationship. Nope. It's so obvious across all levels. And if gambling is going to be so accepted in such a big part of the next 20 years of sports in America, well, then we got to take officiating more seriously. And we got to really invest in officiating and make this right.
If you don't, the ramifications are that people are going to start to say this stuff, and then it's going to just affect handle. I mean, people are being like, you know what? I don't really bet the NFL because of the officiating. I mean, they'll come up with a reason why, but take away that objection. We talk about it. You and I talk about taking away objections every day to a lot of things. Well, take away the objection because the objection is there. I mean, literally, it's what everybody's talking about, showing them sliding it. Showing the holding call that wasn't called. The
conspiracy theorists. Right, but it gives the conspiracy theorists the oxygen in the room.
Right.
Like they get to start to highlight this on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. And they start showcasing, did you know that this was a $50 million swing that if Patrick Mahomes goes into the end zone, the sports books would have lost. They can make up some ridiculous figure and throw it out there. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're right. That's incredible. Why would he do that? Why didn't he score? If you're a casual football fan, you're not thinking it through. There's 2 minutes to go in the game. Have you ever seen a football player not score a touchdown? There was no one there between him and the touchdown to score. Everyone loves scoring touchdowns. And Patrick Mahomes takes a slide at the 2-yard line.
Perfect slide. It was a perfect slide. And he stood up and he did that pose. And I was like, oh man, -3. Fell perfectly. Stayed under the total, right? Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah, stayed under, covered everything. The teasers, the Chiefs cover the teasers, but the Chiefs don't cover the spread. Jets come in, Jets cover. I mean, 9.5. You could have had 9.5.
42. The total was 42 or 41.5. So it was 43. So it totally
okay. So it did go over, but I mean, it's still right there. It's one or two possessions either. And look at here's the week for that's baseball. Sorry, the sports books did not do well. The sports books it was 12-3, I believe the number.
Favorites 12-3 straight up.
Yeah,
9-5-1 against the spread, depending on if you had the 3 or 3.5 with the Bears and the Broncos.
Yeah.
So,
ouch. Not great. But just one more quick thing on Zach Wilson. Do you think that's something they can build upon, or is it a fluke performance?
they didn't lose because of him.
Nope.
Played good. I thought he played. I mean, is that the best he's looked?
Mike Garofalo said it this morning on NFL Network, and I thought it was really interesting. He said he was talking to beat reporters for the Jets, and they said they've never seen that version of Zach Wilson ever. Not in practice, not on 7-on-7s, not in games, not in preseason. They had never, like, whoever that guy was, they're like, who's that guy? Like, they didn't know who the guy was.
Right.
So, like, that's one of those situations where it's, what do you do if you are a Jet fan? I think you have to feel at least a little encouraged that he took that step forward.
It's a big game on Sunday Night Football. Everything would have indicated that you would have been scouring the waiver wire or making calls today to try to make a trade. You don't have to do that now. You have a quarterback that's going to be serviceable, grow, knows what he has to do, shown flashes of doing it. I don't know. I was texting with Anthony, who was on the show last night, and he was like, he was done with the Jets after last week. He was like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm done. Then somebody called him and said, I got a ticket to the game tonight. Do you want to go? And he went.
Nice.
And so it was late here, and I knew he would still be either in traffic or not home yet. So I texted him. I said, what do you think? And he's like, I don't want to get excited again, but I feel better about it now.
I mean, Zach Wilson did show up. I mean, the Zach Wilson that we all know and love at the end did show up. I mean, he did fumble the game away. So, like, that part of the bungle nature of his play is still there. But he was throwing into tight windows, threw for 275 yards. I mean, if I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm like, okay, kid.
He did not throw a pick, right?
Nope. Didn't throw a pick.
He did not throw a pick. So.
Nope. Look, if you are a Jet fan, and I've said this before, I'm pulling for Zach Wilson. I hope that kid actually turns out to be a somewhat decent quarterback. He's had everyone, including Rodney Harrison on national TV last night, just dunk on him like crazy. And if he gets good, I'll hate on him. I'll make fun of him again. It's more fun when the Jets are somewhat relevant and the Patriots beat them, because we always beat the Jets. So it's more relevant and it would be good. Maybe the only team the Patriots are going to own ever is the Jets. We still will own the Jets, but that at least is, I'm pulling for the story of Zach Wilson, not as a Jet, but as the story of Zach Wilson. I'm pulling for the kid.
They're playing the Broncos. I can't wait.
In New York or in Denver?
No, it's in Denver. That's this week.
I
saw the line last night, and I texted everyone that I knew and said the Jets are beating Denver next week in Denver. Grab 3. It was 3. It's 2 this morning. So
Denver's -3?
It was. It's not anymore. It's 2. So again, I don't know. The Jets defense is
very good.
Very good. The Broncos defense is not.
Bet the under. Who was worse? My team or your team? My team lost 38-3 at Dallas. Your team lost 30-6 at Houston.
Are you aware that's the worst loss of Belichick's career? That's the worst loss of his career. He's never lost a game by 35 points.
That's really, I thought he would have for sure. Really?
Same with me. I saw it this morning, and I should have taken a picture of the graphic. I was like, what? That's the first time he's lost. It's the most points he's lost by as a coach.
It's impressive.
Wow.
Bench Mac Jones.
At some point, you had to have gotten blown out or something. Everything went bad. No,
40-0. Well, it's pretty impressive. I mean, really it's the run. Look, I'm gonna say this again. Bill Belichick leaves when Bill Belichick wants to leave. This idea that people want to push Bill Belichick out and they think he's done and he needs to go and blah, 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 the arrogance, the stubbornness, it's all old and done. No. Nick Saban can leave when Nick Saban wants to leave. Bill Belichick can leave when Bill Belichick wants to leave. I don't think Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback of the Patriots next year. I will say that.
We'll ask the chat. We got a nice crowd in here right now. Which loss was worse, chat? Pats or Steelers?
I think the Steelers only because the Houston Texans had a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, it was not good.
I mean, you lost to a guy who, he's the rookie of the year. I mean, CJ Stroud's going to be rookie of the year. He was just rookie of the month. If he stays healthy, he's going to be the rookie of the year. So there's some solace in losing that. But I mean, the Texans defense is not that good. And you guys scored 6 points on the Texans defense.
I saw the offense here. I was like, there's no way the Steelers are winning this game. I liked Houston. I liked under. Everything went well with that, with the Bettis show. Wow. Every single person in the chat said Steelers. Worse. Not even close. Wow. Steelers. Oh, there's one Pats. Addison, I see you working.
It has to be
not encouraged. I was texting last night. I'm like, well, it's hockey season now. That's good because, thank goodness we got the storylines in college are phenomenal.
There are. Yep.
Like there's more of them. And I don't know. I mean, and we'll talk about college football here coming up. It was awesome. Saturday was great. And I wasn't even that excited about the games because of the spreads. And then I started watching the games and I'm like, I absolutely love college football. Pro, we get more duds than good games anymore. Just when you look at the card, there was the afternoon session. There was only 3 games. Dud.
Bad.
Duds. It was just bad. Steeler game against Texans. If you're a Texan fan, it was great.
Texans fans are beside themselves. All my former, people I worked with down in Houston, they are jumping up and down right now.
Like playoffs? Like they're thinking playoffs?
Well, I mean, they could win the South, but I think that they believe they've got a quarterback. They think CJ Stroud's going to be, they got a guy. They got a dude. And Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Damian Pierce, they've got 3 really good weapons. It's a makeshift offensive line, but that was the biggest shocker for me. And because I've got these guys on my fantasy team, I rolled the dice and said, all right, what happens if the Steelers defense gets torched? And I was like, it's the Steelers, but back-to-back road games, they might be tired. And you're asking that defense to play a lot of snaps because the offense hasn't been doing very much so far this year. The defense looked tired. I mean, the defense just didn't look like they had the same pep in the secondary.
They go 3 and out the most of any team in the league offensively.
Yeah, and that's my so I started Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Damian Pierce, and 2 of the 3 went crazy.
Fantasy game.
Yeah. 2 of the 3 went off. I mean, Nico Collins had a monster game. And these are guys that aren't known commodities, but these are guys who are going to be known commodities soon in the NFL. They've hit on a couple of really good draft choices and guys that they've taken in a later part of the draft. Texans are a team to watch.
J-Ma just hit this up with us. Thank you, J-Ma. SoCal DGen. Prior to yesterday, the worst Pats loss in Bill's tenure was on September 7th, 2003. A 31-point loss to the Bills. 31-0 was the final.
Yeah. I mean, the Patriots.
How is that possible?
Because it's Belichick. I mean, look, the Patriots have scored 55 points through 4 weeks. That's the second fewest in the history under Bill Belichick. In 2000, they scored 51. That was Belichick's first season. That's how bad this offense is. That's how bad the Patriots have been scoring points. They can't score against anybody. I mean, their offense is the offense is bad.
Stink.
Patriots stink. Their defense is good, but just like the Steelers, their secondary is really banged up, and the Cowboys went after it yesterday. Yeah. Wisely so.
Right. And then no shot of coming back down multiple scores.
0.
I mean, no shot. Just in game it, whatever you got to do. Like, you force them to have to come back, one-dimensional pass only, big trouble. Steelers can't stay on the field, can't get 3 first downs in a row on a drive. I mean, it's just over and over and over. Pickett got hit.
Hurt.
The game wasn't on the regular TV here. By the time I got Pop and Grandma settled on the other side of the house, they were like, "This stinks." They were mothering, they were yelling at the screen like, "Oh, we don't need to watch this anymore." Started to settle into the Philadelphia game. I don't know. When in Pittsburgh, we're talking about, firing Canada and all that other stuff again. It's all coming out. Like,
only because
mid-season, you don't do that.
You can, but Tomlin, the reason why people are thinking that they might is because there was all that rumor in the offseason about Matt Canada's job. And then Mike Tomlin said, we're making changes. Now, he didn't say what, but in his post-game press conference, he said, we are going to make changes. Changes will be made. So everyone's going, okay, so what does that mean? The only change that fans want is Matt Canada no longer calling plays. But
he can't block. I don't know that the left side of the line just cannot block. Like they have, was on with Blewett yesterday, and Ranieri did it, Sports Grid. Blewett said on PFF, Pro Football Focus, the Steelers have the worst rated offensive tackles and guards. They are last in the league
in both.
And I said, because he was like, are you bummed out? I'm like, no, they can't block. It doesn't matter. Damn, I have a line written downstairs because Jessica was watching the game for a little bit, and she's like, well, there's no game if there's no line, or something like that. Like, you can't, if you don't have an offensive line, there's no game. And I was like, I got to say that on the show tomorrow. I think something like that. But she was right.
Yeah, she's right.
It's bad in Pittsburgh. It's bad in New England. It's not good. Who's going to have more wins?
It's a great question. We'll do that later in the week.
Yeah.
Look at the schedule. Bills dismantled the Dolphins. Buffalo, best team in the league.
Is Allen the MVP favorite now?
Should be.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're the best team in the league. They're arguably the best team in the AFC today. But it's September. Well, now it's October. Everything is balmy, perfect football weather. They got to play that way when it ain't like that. We saw that last year.
No, it's true, because the Chiefs, and Mahomes even said it last night after their win, they're starting to figure it out, and that's a little bit scary from a Patriot fan perspective, because what we all know is that September and October mean really nothing. It's November, December. Patriot fans always were like Armageddon. Oh my God, sky's falling. They have 1 or 2 losses. They go 2-2 or 3-2 to start the year, and they wind up with 11, 12, 13 wins. So yeah, the Bills can be the best team right now, and the Patriots always were comfortable with giving other teams that mantra. Go ahead, that mantle. Go ahead. You can have it. That's fine. You be the best team in September. We'll be the best team in February.
Right.
So I'm with you. The Bills do it. The Bills are right now, in my mind, the best team in the league, but it means absolutely nothing.
They're not better than San Francisco for me. San Francisco is the best team in the league.
Right now, the injuries for San Francisco, I'd put the Bills ahead of them. If Debo comes back fully healthy, Ayuk's fully healthy, I'll give it to you. Yeah, Niners are better. But the Niners aren't better without them being at full strength.
Niners, I'm telling, what they're doing is so impressive, because if they got to keep him healthy.
Who's him? Run CMC or Purdy?
Purdy don't feel like he gets touched.
He doesn't.
They got an offensive line. They got a defensive line. They're physical. They got weapons all over. Everybody's involved. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's an ego involved in that whole team. There's egos going on in certain cities. We saw some sound bites after games, like receivers are getting mad they're not getting the ball and they're losing, and it's starting to bust up stuff inside. Nothing is, knock on wood, for San Francisco and their fans.
Jamar Chase's tweet after the statement after the game was my favorite one. I might
use that every day and find a way to get that on my feed and just answer a question. I'm open. I'm always
fucking open.
I'm always fucking open. Oh, sorry about my profanity. It was so raw. It was so great.
Open? I'm always fucking open. I
Yeah.
like the receiver ego is so great. I love the receiver ego.
Yeah.
It's just it can't be held in check sometimes. Like he's trying to be all nice and proper, and then somebody asks him, "Well, are you getting open?" Ding. Like, okay, no more. Here's the real ego coming out.
It was phenomenal. But yeah, so Buffalo winning a game and scoring 40-something points. I mean, that game was trading scores early, back and forth. I mean, it was score. And it was like, wow, this thing's, the in-game total was 78.5. I was like, wow, got to keep an eye on this. And, of course, locally, we don't have that game. So that wasn't the local game because Pap saw the score and he was like, where's the Miami game? I'll watch that because he was watching paint dry with the Eagles and the Redskins. Eagles and the Commanders.
That was a good game.
Turned into a good game. It didn't start out as a good game.
Right.
And he was like, oh, well, he checked his phone. He's like, 14-14. Can I put that game on? No, you got to get the YouTube thing. He was like, what? Yeah, you want, we can buy it right now. I'll split it with you. No, the hell with that. I want to watch it right now. Oh, okay. So I don't know. My takeaway was that Buffalo's back. Yes. Now. Yes. That's a big injury. What's the safety's name? Tate. Or the cornerback, huge.
Bills?
Yeah, arguably the best player on their defense.
Poyer?
No, somebody put it in the chat. Non-contact.
Yeah. Jordan Poyer got hurt.
Non-contact injury. He was just backing up. He was backpedaling and he grabbed his knee. It was like, oh, that was it. Done. So that's huge. That's going to hurt them.
Tre'Davious White got hurt too. Poirier got hurt. Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious White. Yeah, Tre'Davious White. That's who it was.
Again, he can't stay healthy. They've played without him for almost 2 years now. He just can't stay healthy.
Well,
that's a bummer for him. His games played have been, way down compared to what they thought they were going to get out of him.
Oh, that was the good knee.
Yeah. So Tre'Davious White got hurt in 2011. Only played 11 games. Only played 6 games in 2022. Played 4 games so far this year. Yeah, so Josh Allen, my heart breaks seeing Tre'Davious White get injured. Yeah, look like he's done for the year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. That is costly for them. That really is costly. But again, they played a ton the last 3 seasons. They've played a ton without him.
Right.
So they have been able to overcome that injuries.
Put it in the chat. Who you like? Who's the best team in the league right now? Put your, it doesn't have to be San Francisco or Buffalo, but I think if I had to say San Francisco is in the NFC as of today, Buffalo and KC will probably get votes, but there's 2 teams here that won't get votes. I can tell you that.
No. Bears, Broncos. We'll touch on this very quickly, but how bad is it for the Bears?
I couldn't stop watching this game. I was watching this game. Bears got up 28-7. I'm like, wow. All right, finally. They're going to win a game. And they look, Fields looked great. 4 touchdown passes. Was fine. Wasn't getting hit a lot. Denver's defenses, I have no idea what they're doing. They score. Well, no, you could tell they were frustrated. And then they were like, all right, don't let them score again. So Denver scored, got a stop, got another score. Then Fields got hit, fumbled the ball, scoop and scores 28-28. I'm like, oh, can't believe this. And Jess was like, wow. Because we had the Jedi texting us and the boys were like, oh, man, can't believe that people picked Denver, when they were down 28-7. Okay. Come all the way back. The Bears get the
second
ball.
time. The second time Survivor has happened. Giants, Arizona, and now the Broncos and the Bears are people who were
counting it over before it was over.
And they came back.
But the Bears went down and got the ball to the 21-yard line of Denver with 2:20 to go. 4th down and 1. Call timeout after trying to get him to jump. Come back to the sideline. They come back out in an offensive formation. And you're like, I'm watching the game. What are they doing? Thought they were just going to kick a field goal. Nope. They run a shotgun pitch play gets stopped. Denver goes down and escapes with a win. It's only good, though, because then Denver's favored against the Jets. That line should be pick 'em. How could Denver be favored in a game at home? I don't know.
Is it time to sit Joe Burrow down? There are the currently, according to Pro Football Focus stats, the worst offense in the NFL currently is being run in Cincinnati.
Wow.
Saying that this morning. Worst team is 1. You guys are 5. Patriots are 3. The team that's the worst in the league, 32nd expected points per play, Bengals.
Oh my.
They're not doing. I mean, they are. Titans did whatever they wanted to yesterday. Ran the ball, threw the ball.
Yeah.
It was talk about tired defenses. The Bengals defense got tired yesterday.
Yeah, that's not an easy task to go to Tennessee and play.
After a loss, they're angry.
I don't know. Is it time
Vrabel
to
can
sit him?
coach.
I mean, who's the backup?
I would love to
Whitfield.
see Mike. I would love to see Mike Vrabel replace Belichick. I would love to see him be the heir apparent. He can really coach. He's really good.
Is that even an option? Why would he do that?
Why would he do that? Go back home.
He's got to build a tremendous legacy in Tennessee.
Can you win a championship in Tennessee?
Hell yeah.
Okay, do it. He hasn't done it. Got quarterback questions.
That's the one missing piece.
Go home.
He's been able to do it pretty well without one.
Robert's going to write a check to go get his boy. Bring Mike home.
I don't know. Vrabel's he's a home dog. I mean, Tennessee's a dog to Indianapolis this week.
Folks
at
don't respect
Indianapolis. What's going on? What are you guys doing to make the numbers?
Richardson looks pretty good.
It's
Colts were down 20
nothing. They were getting
came
smoked.
Back, and they came all the way back, and they could have won the game, and then they gave up. Unfortunately, they lose the coin flip, and right down the field, touchdown Rams, game over. Beautiful, stupid NFL rules in overtime.
It's one of these things, though. Now, like that was a wrap. 23-0 was done in the old days. Now it's the furthest thing from being done ever. Like, I don't feel any lead is safe watching the games.
Any first half leads, I would agree. There is no first half lead that's safe. There's second half leads that are safe, but first half leads, I would agree.
I don't know. I would, if it was me, man, I'd be saying, listen, we got to score 45 every game. I want 6 touchdowns or a combination of 5 touchdowns and 2 or 3 field goals. That's my number every game. We're not milking anything. You guys aren't coming out. We're not nursing a lead. We're going to keep scoring. And I don't know, man. I don't know if is it time to sit Burrow? Since he goes to Arizona this week.
Sit him down. Get him healthy. Let him play the second half of the year. Sit him down for a month.
They're 3-point favorites at Arizona.
Yep. You're not going anywhere like this. Burrow is going to get hurt. Tennessee knew where he was because he was a statue. And they did what I thought was going to happen the week before, in which he can't move. They were just waiting and waiting and waiting. Well, the Titans knew he was going to play. There was no questions. Okay, Burrow's playing. He can't move. Get after him. Right. And they literally blitzed the hell out of him all game long. He got buried a couple of times. Bad. I'd sit him down.
CBW said Houston's lead was safe. You're right. Houston's lead was safe.
So was the Cowboys. That's true. Yeah, Cowboys.
And the Cowboys lead was safe.
Yeah, that was true.
Chargers lead almost wasn't.
Was not. Chargers lead was not. They went up 17-0 and they almost blew it to the Raiders. They covered still, but woof.
What is their problem?
Chargers, Brandon Staley is their problem.
There is just something that just doesn't, between the stadium, the uniforms, the way they play. Herbert makes plays. He gets hit. He keeps getting up and coming back. The defense looks like it's good at times. They should be better than they are.
I would agree. They should be much better than they are. Their defense. Raiders were playing a rookie quarterback who in the first half looked like he never played football before. He played much better in the second half, but boy, oh boy. Speaking of the Niners, Run CMC for MVP, 4 touchdowns yesterday, and they went over the Cardinals.
Hard to argue, no.
Given the way that Tua played against the Bills, I would say McCaffrey should be your front runner at the moment.
It's not a quarterback. Josh Allen is let's see. I think Josh Allen is the favorite.
Right. And then McCaffrey too.
Oh, let's click refresh here and see, sir. Because a lot of people do like to bet this stuff. I didn't really realize that how much people really do like to bet this stuff.
Because you can take different positions throughout the entire year with pretty good plus prices.
Huh. It's not up right now. Why is that?
Game tonight.
It's not up at FanDuel. Doesn't make sense. Oh, here it is. NFL regular season MVP. Wow. Huh. Josh Allen plus 350. Tua. Tagovailoa 5-1.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes 5-1. Jalen Hurts 8-1.
Wow.
Lamar Jackson 12-1.
He had a hell of a game yesterday.
Justin Herbert 16-1. Brock Purdy 16-1.
Wait, McCaffrey's behind his quarterback?
Trevor Lawrence 20. And then Christian McCaffrey 25.
Yeah, I'd bet that. At 25-1 right now, McCaffrey is a good investment.
Doesn't stay healthy, Perrault.
True, but if he does,
right?
I mean, he had 4 touchdowns yesterday. He was unstoppable. When Debo's out, he's unbelievable.
Right.
So wow, that's hello. Okay, to college football we go. Number 1, Georgia nearly loses at Auburn. Their grip here is starting to slide here a little bit. Who's the best team in the country? Michigan, Texas, Georgia.
We had this debate on Saturday night after the fight. Everybody in my house was sleeping. You were up, and when I called and we started talking, we basically did about a 30-minute show on that subject in itself.
Yep.
Give you guys a look behind what goes on.
Right.
You were making a case for Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I am not buying Michigan's schedule up at this point. It's not their fault, but they are dominating teams that they should be dominating.
Yeah, but they normally don't, though. I mean, the thing with Penn State and Michigan, they're both the same to me. Teams that they're supposed to dominate, they sometimes play with their food. They don't do what they're supposed to do. And this year, they're both just blasting the alumni. They're both 5. Michigan's not covering. Penn State is. Penn State's 5-0 ATS. Michigan's not.
Yeah.
But they're taking care of business, and there's not that, oh my God, did you see that Michigan score? We haven't really had that except for the 10-10 score against Northwestern on Saturday for Penn State.
Well, they fixed that in the second half, thank goodness.
Yeah. I mean, and then Michigan goes to Nebraska, and if somebody's in Nebraska,
tell the story about the balloons, please.
You have to do this for me, if you guys, because I was on Sports Grid yesterday, and if you're in Nebraska, I need a picture. Saturday. Thank you, Saturday. I need a picture. The tradition for Nebraska is they don't let go of these red balloons that they sell oftentimes for charity in and around the stadium until the Huskers score. They score a touchdown. Everyone lets go of the balloons. It's like the most wholesome Andy Griffith, like ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life covering sports. I was like, what?
So you buy them outside the stadium.
Yes. And bring them in.
I
think they're sold inside too. I mean, this is not like this is a decade long tradition for Husker football.
Okay.
So you buy the balloons.
I take the kids, and Jess and the girls each get a balloon. So we're holding 4 balloons.
Yep.
Before kickoff.
And then Nebraska scores a touchdown, and then you let go of the balloon. There's always this debate as to whether you let it go at a field goal or a touchdown. Some let it go at a field goal. Some let it go for a touchdown.
Okay.
It was 35-0 in the fourth quarter. They scored a touchdown at the end of the game. But I want to know how many people actually hung onto their balloons for 4 fucking quarters while they're just holding on to it, sitting in the stands, watching the Huskers get their asses whipped, beat red whipped by Michigan. And then they score a touchdown and they're like, yay. And they let it go. Like, I need because when you're on the press box, we always see the horizon full of balloons. Like, Nebraska scores. So there's like 2,000 balloons that are all floating because helium rises up to a certain level and then it stops because when the oxygen is no longer light, when the air in the balloon is no longer lighter than the air outside, that's why it rises. So you get like this flat layer where you see all the balloons and they just the wind takes them and they all blow them away. I want to picture that in the fourth quarter. Like, how many people actually had their balloons left when it was 35-0 Michigan and Nebraska scored?
I can't imagine like being with the kids at the game going, wait, no, hold the balloons. Daddy, it's halftime. Well, I'll hold the balloons. Everybody go to the bathroom. I'll come back.
I bet
hold the balloons.
I bet nobody had them. I bet there was like no balloons because it's almost like an insult now. Like, I'm not holding onto this balloon. I'm not letting it go. Screw you, Matt Rule. We were so happy for Matt Rule. He can't even score a damn putt. He can't even get a field goal for 4 quarters.
Oh, man, that stinks.
Whipped by Michigan.
Hold the balloons. It's a fourth quarter, Daddy. Can I let the balloon go? No.
They
got to score a touchdown.
The last time I remember that I was covering Nebraska at the end of the Bill Callahan era. And I was doing a post-game show called the Big Red Reaction Show. And that was like one of the main calls. Like, people were pissed off that they had to hang on. We couldn't even get rid of our damn balloons. The kids were holding on to them. Like, people were so pissed off. And that was back in like 2006. So now, after all the the Rule crazy hype that he had coming in.
Yeah.
Losing on the road's one thing, but losing at home, the Blue Hairs do not take kindly to leaving harvest, because it's harvest time right now out in Nebraska.
Whoa.
You leave the fields to go to a football game. You put yourself behind work because you go to a game. You're supposed to be out there 24/7 in the combines, harvesting all your crops. You go to a football game and they can't even score a point till the fourth quarter. Big mad.
Do you ever inhale helium to talk funny?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. It was always a big hit when we were kids here. So, we got a helium.
I've also inhaled other things out of balloons.
Well, I'm not asking you to come clean on this show or anything. I'm just asking about
it's fine. It's helium balloons are one thing, that's sure. And there's other balloons as well that can make your head feel a different way. Makes music sound a certain way too, just saying. Red River is this weekend.
Yes.
Texas OU undefeated.
Yes.
Circa opened at 562. Moved to the favorite into the under, which I don't get the under move at all. I need someone to come on the show this week and tell me how, other than Texas winning like they won last year, which was 49-0, how are we staying under 50, 60, or how are we staying under 60 points in this game? Because Oklahoma has a quarterback who can score, and I don't think OU's defense is going to touch stopping Texas.
You watched, you said you were watching some of the Oklahoma.
Watched almost all of it.
Iowa State game.
Yep.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, oh, okay. I thought the number would definitely be higher.
Iowa State moved the football. Big, gashing runs.
Right.
I mean, they moved the ball. And that's a freshman quarterback making his first road start in the Big 12, first start to Norman, threw a pick 6 in his first series, and that put them behind the 8 ball, but they were moving the ball consistently. And I'm like, Quinn Ewers is going to rip this defense apart next weekend.
Do you think Oklahoma's going to be able to score on Texas's defense?
No, I don't. I think this is a rout.
Well, that's okay. So then that's why it's an under.
Yeah, I think Texas is going to kill them. I mean, I think it's a 15 to 20.
Number 6.5 today, by the way.
Okay, I got to bet it today then. Damn it. Okay, I want
it's
6.
6 in town. You can still get 2 6s in town, and then 6.5 everywhere else.
I want the overtime number in case I need it. So I want 6. On that for those of you who are betting college football, you got to remember the overtime rules. The overtime rules are basically you're forced to go for 2 after the first overtime. So that makes 6 a really key number in college football, more than the NFL. 6 is a really key number.
Yeah.
Don't 6.5. The different, in my opinion, now I think there's a big difference between 6 and 6.5.
Yeah, I mean it means a little bit more in college. I don't know if it's a key number. I'm not ready to say that, but
Okay.
it's better than laying 7.
Sure.
This is going to 7.
Right.
This
It may cross 7.
That is, I don't know about that, but
I think I can't wait to see what the ceiling is. What's the friction point where you get OU money coming back? Because the way Texas did it last year, and they didn't have Quinn Ewers in this game last year, and they've got Quinn Ewers this year,
right.
and they're trying to impress the committee. Neutral field in Dallas, arch rival, both teams undefeated. I mean, this has got Sarkisian written all over it to run the damn score up.
So they're playing this at the Cotton Bowl?
Always, yes. Dallas State Fair.
Yeah.
Half burnt orange, half cream,
It's such
whatever,
a cool scene.
maroon
It's
and
such
cream.
a cool scene. I put in my pitch to go. She's not buying it. I said we have to go for a show.
This week?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a 9:00 in the morning start our
Always
time.
is.
Though, so,
Always is. Noon kick. Always is.
yeah.
I just want to go see the big, what was that called? The big Tex. That gigantic thing that burned down. They had to rebuild it. The big thing that waves, the big Gumby looking thing that they have at the Texas State Fair.
Corey Macbeth just came in the chat and said they haven't had the red balloon tradition in Nebraska for a few years now.
Really? They stopped doing it?
That's what he just said in there. I don't know.
Wow.
Corey?
Who? I believe you. I believe you. I mean,
know.
I left Nebraska in 2009 and that was my last football game for Nebraska was 2009. They stopped doing the balloon tradition.
That's what it says.
Wow. Steve Pearson killed that too, huh? It's pretty good because they weren't scoring. That's because they weren't scoring under both balloons.
All these people
enough of
hold
this.
the balloons between their
too
legs, holding it down.
It's too embarrassing. Oh, that's
annoyed.
too bad.
Wow.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That was really a nice, wholesome tradition. I was like, where the hell am I? I had 2 times in my career where I was like, what the hell are you doing? First time when I saw the boys and girls or the young men and young women going to a Virginia football game with a suit and tie, with a shirt and tie in khakis, and the girls in sundresses to go to a football game. I went, we're going to a football game. What are you doing? They're like, of course, you got to dress up for a football game. What the hell are you talking about? I could not figure that out.
You didn't have people dressing up for high school football games in Andover or anything like that?
No. A shirt, to wear a coat and a tie and slacks to go to a football game?
In some of the towns up there, you had some preppy places. They probably
of course we did. We were the prep. I mean, we're one of the preppy towns in all of Massachusetts. Andover's, it's Andover. It's said with preppiness, but but it's
just threw up in my mouth.
That's what we are. That's my town. No, we did not wear that at all. You guys did in Pennsylvania?
Never
dressed up.
Never once.
Right.
What are you talking about? You going to a football game.
Right, going to a football game. Right. That's why I couldn't figure it out. And
people
then
go to football games in Pennsylvania like ready to play. Like, hey, they may still call me from the stands.
And that's right. So that's what in Nebraska, then that in the balloon tradition were the 2 things that were like, wait, what? So we'll have a lot of time to break down Red River as we get to the week. Yeah. USC goes up big, and then Colorado came back. Did we learn more about USC or Colorado in that game?
USC. Because
their defense sucks.
They're going to have them winning, at least getting to the national championship is a big dog in my eyes. Like they're going to have a hiccup or 2, whether that somebody catches them in the Pac-12 championship.
I agree.
Like they did last year, or they're going to lose a road game where they're just not going to be able to score a little bit, and the other team is still going to score. They don't at this point. It works again, kind of like Buffalo. We can keep scoring, we can outscore them. But when we can't score enough to, the other team's still going to get 30, we're in trouble because we're only going to get 28. Something like that's going to happen.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I thought.
Right. One quick circle. I just saw it. Have you seen the Eagle fans' defense of the tush push? This is like a personal thing for Eagles fans.
What's that?
The tush push?
Well, no, I know what it is. What are they defending? I mean, it's just a
Because
football
I want it banned. I want it out. I want it out of.
You're not getting it banned or doing it in college all over the place.
I think it's banned. I think it's gonna be gone. I think next year it'll be gone. I do. I think it'll be gone.
Way.
Okay. I think it'll be gone next year.
What are they going to say? You can't do it?
You cannot push somebody from behind at the line of scrimmage. QB sneaking is fine. You can't throw a play where you have 3 guys loading up to push a quarterback forward because there's no way of getting against it because I can't push the defensive player forward the same way you can push an offensive player forward. I think for safety they'll claim it's a safety reason. They're gonna outlaw it.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Nope.
Yeah. I think it's very, very possible that that's what they'll do. But Eagle fans, man, they are all in on defending that more than any fan base I've ever seen in my life. Defending a rule, they are all in on that. They're taking it very personally. The Irish escaped Duke. Leonard got hurt. It looks like a high ankle sprain, so maybe it's a couple of weeks. He might be able to come back this season. That's going to be huge for Duke. Yeah,
that's all that was.
Well, high ankle sprains like the same thing that Saquon Barkley is dealing with. It's pretty significant. It's a problematic injury.
Oh, that looks not bad. I can't believe that wasn't something broken or torn.
Yeah. Oh. But it's a high ankle sprain that's a slightly torn ligament, but yeah, it's tough. But he's a couple of weeks. I think he might be able to come back. But from an Irish perspective, after blowing the game against Ohio State, their whole year hung in the balance. And then Sam Hartman made a hell of a run for a first down play to put them into position to score that game-winning touchdown. They covered, amazingly enough. Not just winning, Irish covered.
That turned into a hell of an ending for them to do that. He said still dead for the playoffs. I can't see a way for them to get in. Everyone else has to just go away.
Or lose. Yeah.
Lose, but them one loss against other teams one loss. They're not getting in over them.
If Georgia loses at Tennessee, Alabama has a loss to Texas. If Oklahoma loses, if Texas
loses, Alabama or Georgia over Notre Dame. They are. They can't get in over a one-loss team over them. I don't even know if they can get in over a one-loss Big Ten team.
Not if it's Ohio State or Michigan. Maybe Penn State.
Right? That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. Right now, somebody got to get 2 losses. Like, multiple teams have to get 2 losses.
Yeah, they're probably out of it. That's true. All right, to baseball we go. Astros win the West on the last day. Rangers lose to Seattle 1-0. What the hell happened yesterday? Tiebreaker goes to the Astros. You got a celebration going on. I mean, Alex Bregman says, what's it like for the Astros not to win the AL West? I don't know. I'll never find out. Popping champagne as they win another division crown. What did the Rangers do? How much might they regret this where they did not win yesterday?
I was doing all the work this morning on all the exactas and all the prices and all this other stuff. I have these madman rambling sheets of paper that I was writing stuff down on. The odds are so drastically different than what they could have been. Like their road now, Texas's road is so much harder. It's so hard. I don't know if they beat Tampa.
Here is your bracket. This is the final Major League Baseball bracket right now. Texas is the 5. They could have been the 2. They could have played the winner of the Jays and the Twins. Instead, they got to get past Tampa, Baltimore, and then most likely Houston to get to the World Series.
Oh, man.
They're dead. They're dead. They're not going through.
Sorry.
They're not going through the 4, the 1, and the 2 to get themselves in. They could have had a chance to take on the Twins, and then fine, you can go ahead and deal with whoever's on the other side, whether it be the Astros, the Rays, the Orioles. What a massive, massive bad situation for the Rangers not to win yesterday.
There's some gigantic prices.
It's 162, right? But sometimes one of those 162 means more than others.
There's some gigantic prices on their scenarios. 200 to 1, 300 to 1 on them over some teams. But I mean, the lowest Rangers price now is like, I think it's 75 or 80 to 1 over the Braves, which, the Astros is 12.
Right.
Astros over the Braves is like 12 to 1 or 15 to 1. That's how much of a difference. Not that I'm saying that the Rangers prices would have been the Astros prices, but the Rangers 5-game series is the start, not the second series. And they get winner of Twins and Blue Jays after they burn through to 1, 2, or maybe 3 starters. It's a really good position to be in. It's a bummer for them.
Well, to give you an example, here are the series prices. Best of 3, remember. Okay. Yeah. Best of 3 series. Rays are minus 170 against the Rangers.
All the games are at the team.
One site. Yep, one site. No travel.
Which is awesome.
For the home team.
No, I think it's fair.
It is?
It gives you the incentive to, play that last game to get that home field.
They could have a best of 5 in Texas. Instead, they go to the Trop to play 3 games.
And then if they lose that, they don't go home. They just pack up and go to Baltimore to start the next series.
If they win, you mean?
I mean, if they win, yeah.
Yeah. Pack up and go home. They lose, they go home.
Yeah.
Right. Then they go to Baltimore. You play 3 games on the road, potentially in Tampa, and then a 5 series, best, 2 games in Baltimore before you go back home. It's a 2-2-1 in the next round, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, to be a 1 or we're going to see it for the first time this year, but the 1 and the 2 seeds, I think next year teams will really try to get the 1 and the 2. There is a massive difference.
Well, last year it didn't help. And the 5 and the 6 won the NL. Padres, Phillies were 5 and 6. That's why those prices that I had on them were so big. The Braves and Dodgers were 1 and 2 last year. It didn't help them. The Yankees were the 2 seed last year. It didn't help them. It's, the team that it is really in a good spot is those Central Division. Both are the 3 seed again. Milwaukee has to find a way. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. Rays, I think the Rays beat the Rangers, but it's going 3. I don't think it's just this is just
so. Why, so just wait to bet game 3, right? Is this the price of game 3? 170?
No, I don't think. I gotta go. I don't have the pitching matchups done yet. Who each team's throwing. It's like Gallen's going game 2 for Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You got to really like him in that spot. So that feels like that series is going 3. So that one you could wait, But this one here, I again, the Rangers bullpen has been a problem. The Rangers bullpen is going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The short series, they maybe can't get by, but they go to Baltimore, I think, and lose.
Should the Jays be dogs to the Twins?
Saw a tremendous breakdown this morning of the Twins bullpen. It's really good. The Jays swing and miss at a lot of pitches. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because I initially thought no. I thought, wow, there's no way with the lineup. And then have they named the starters yet for game 1?
I haven't seen if they have.
I'm going to click refresh.
Should be sometime today.
Oh, no. Toronto, it's Gossman and Lopez. It's a pick-em game. So
why is the series what it is?
Well, because it's only going to get because I think the books are telling you that the Twins are going to win game 1. That's what that's telling me right there. That 124 series price is telling me the Twins are going to win game 1. They're already shading it. So, I mean, Minnesota's pitching is definitely better. Mr. C just came in. Thank you, sir. He thinks so too. Cheshire Cat is in the chat, by the way. Do you know this person? Hi. She's a woman from Worcester.
Worcester. What's up? I do not know anyone by that nickname.
She spelled it like it's pronounced. Worcester.
Yeah. STA. Yeah. Worcester.
That's phonetically perfect. That's great. I actually sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Marlins. Now, Marlins got the wild card spot. Marlins on the road this year were 38-42. The Phillies at home were 49-32. I understand why the Phillies are the favorite. They're the biggest favorite on the board in the first round.
This is absurd.
This feels wrong. No?
The Phillies lineup. Schwarber, lefty. Harper, lefty. Bryson, Stott, lefty.
Uh-huh.
The Marlins are going Luzardo today, and the other lefty probably tomorrow.
Perez tomorrow?
I can't believe this price. This is extra.
Right? Okay. I'm glad. Okay. I saw it and I was like, wait. What are we talking about here? I was like, they know each other. They're division rivals. They play at Philadelphia all the time. This is not going to be new to them. The Marlins aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the bank. No one cares. It's Philadelphia.
Division rivals too. Like they've all seen each other.
Yes.
13
multiple
times this season. What's the season series? Does anyone know? Put the season series between these two teams. I don't know what it is.
I don't.
But I think it's just probably close. Of the 13, it's probably 7-6 or 8-5. There's no
7-6. Miami won at 7-6. 4 of those games were one-run games.
That's what this is going to be, isn't it? This is going to be one-run games.
And then bet the Marlins because the Marlins are the best team in baseball in one-run games.
5:08 Pacific. So that's the night game. 7.5 is the total. Wow, 7.5 is the total in every game on Tuesday. Wow. Okay. Huh. So every series plays today. Every series plays Wednesday, and every series would then play Thursday.
So for the record, the Miami Marlins were 33-14 this year in one-run games. That's stupid.
That doesn't even make sense.
Nobody in baseball had even 32. Oh, sorry. No, I'm wrong. Reds, 34. They were number 2. Okay, but they're out. But the Reds, but from a playoff perspective, no one else has anywhere close to this in the playoffs. 30 wins for Baltimore, 22 for Tampa, 19. They were under 500, 19-27. The Twins, under 500, 20-21. Astros, damn, the Rangers were 14-22 this year in one-run games. Phillies were 29-24, Braves 23-18, Brewers 29-18, Dodgers were 16-15, D-backs 21-21, 33-14, Miami Marlins. If it's a one-run game series, I like Miami's chances.
Is that the most? 49 one-run games of the 162?
Let's see. Number of games
Cincinnati.
played. No, since he was 34-29.
So that's 63. Wow.
That's ridiculous.
63 one-run games.
That's the most in baseball. 46 for the Orioles, 30-16. Guardians were 27-31, 58.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw this price. I was a little bit surprised, but so they go Wheeler, Nola, and then, my goodness, I don't know who the Phillies' third starter will be. I don't think the Phillies know who yet.
Sanchez, probably.
Okay. You're going to have a series on the line. You got a minus 200?
I mean, Sanchez at home, he's much better than on the road, so I would throw him.
Fine, but man, oh man, it's just.
I agree. It's all hands on deck, though. I mean, basically, whoever else, quick hook, he doesn't have it, you pull him. And then the last game is D-backs Brewers. I'm okay with this price. It's expensive, but
I don't know what happened just now, but it's minus 220 everywhere.
good.
What's
the buyback on the D-backs?
Plus 185 or plus
Nice.
190, depending where you
Let's
shop.
go. I'm glad I haven't bet that yet. That's tremendous. I bet I was telling people on the juice for 154. I was just going to bet it today because I got to go to FanDuel. I got to go in person to bet it. Now it's 190. That's great. Big move on the Brewers.
That's at Suncoast? Is that where you go to do it? No.
Yes, Boyd. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go up there. I'll go there after the show.
At the kiosk. Mm-hmm. FanDuel prices are all at Boyd.
Oh.
On the kiosk.
All right, very good.
Mm-hmm. So now we can get plus 190. That's great. Because I got to come back on my other side because I have that 21-1 ticket.
Right.
On the Brewers. So just one unit down on that, and it's a guarantee now,
Yeah, it's Burns and Pafat.
I don't know how to say his name.
I don't know either, but I just say it so it's pronounced so you guys know. But I know I'm saying it wrong. But if he wants to reach out and let me know on the show, I'll be glad to. I'll have to talk to somebody from MLB, maybe get the official pronunciations. That move there, watching the lines all change at the same time as somebody is saying the Brewers are winning game 1. So they win game 1. The series price doesn't double, but it goes up a lot.
Would you recommend? I mean, is that the better play to not bet the series until after game 1?
If you want the Diamondbacks?
Well, yeah, because I'm trying to go out, work off of the Brewers ticket. So wait till after game 1.
Well, if the only risk you're taking with that is if
Diamondbacks
win
game 1. Right. So I'd rather not.
You're getting a really cacao price.
Yeah, I'd rather not I'd rather not risk it. I'd rather just do what I was doing.
It's pronounced Fought. I love this chat.
Thank you.
You guys are the fucking best. Thank you very much. Santana, thank you. Cheshire,
to tonight.
Sorry for my language.
Seahawks laying 2. Giants are at home. Total is 47.
Got all the Seattle. I told you I'm wearing a Mariners stuff to try to.
This is favored and over, is it not?
I don't know. It's over. I feel like it's an over game.
Agreed.
I don't want nothing to do with this game.
Giants are giving up 32.7 points per game.
They're so bad.
32.7 points a game. It's insane.
And they didn't even have a 70 burger put up on them. Right?
Yep. 29 points a game for the offense for Seattle. They're 2-1 ATS. Giants are 0-3 on the year ATS. Last night the Jets played well. It's same building. A loss is coming, maybe by 3. But Danny Dimes is 1-11 in prime time.
It's 2.5 now.
Okay. I got 1.5 last night.
Yeah, it's 2.5 everywhere.
It's the right move. Seattle's right
46.5.
Oh, it's coming down. Surprising.
Oh, opener was 45.
Oh, it was 47 last night.
Wow. It was 45 to open. Went all the way up to 47, 48 in a couple places. Holy crap, they're playing with the total today. Wow. 46.5 is pretty much a painted number.
Okay. Interesting.
Tonight. Wow. Huh.
So I like favorite and over.
Forced, I like over. Crunchy says over on a primetime game. Dave, turn in your bookie card. Probably. Last night went over.
Tonight's going. Look, the Giants' defense is horrendous.
Who's stopping who here?
Yeah, Seattle's defense is not that good. Yeah, no, this is an offensive game coming up here tonight. I don't like either team defensively tonight for that.
Right.
All right, I'm wearing the Celtics stuff for a reason. Celtics are officially going for it.
Oh, God.
Massive trade. They went out and got Drew Holiday from Portland.
Please.
In case you missed the trade package in which Boston went and acquired, here is the trade package in its entirety. This is from The Athletic. They do not like the trade. Celtics get Drew Holiday. They give up Robert Williams III, Malcolm Brogdon, and 2 first-round picks, 1 next year and 1 in 2029, coming up here for the services of Drew Holiday. Your first blush reaction to the trade, Dave, was what?
Well, we weren't surprised that Holiday got moved.
Well, they were shopping him. The question was Boston going to have enough? And then we heard from different people that were connected with Boston saying that they are definitely interested in Drew Holiday. And Brad Stevens basically made it known yesterday at the press conference at their media day saying 100%, like they're going for it. And that's their one and only goal is to win right now.
What's the people that don't like it? What's the beef that they don't have?
They gave up too much
now?
Yes, they give up too much. Giving up, they don't have not a bench. They don't have a rim protector, so they don't have a big. They need to go find a big to help them. But they've got a bunch of second-round picks, and Brad Stevens said yesterday that they're not really done. That they're going to be looking for rim protection. They're going to go find a big guy somewhere, but they like what they've got. They have a 7'3" wing in Porzingis. They've got a lockdown, one of the best defenders in the entire NBA in Drew Holiday. I mean, their starting five is stupid. I mean, it's just absolutely stupid with what Boston's going to be able to run out there. Their starting six is stupid. Right. Their bench might be a little bit weak, but right now, boy, oh boy, is Boston good up from a top perspective. The books immediately put Boston into a direct tie with Milwaukee, top of the market.
Yeah, that's the move. I mean, it's those two and everybody else. It's pretty clear. Chef Benny says the Celtics front court is a 38-year-old and a guy who can't stay healthy.
Who's the guy that can't stay healthy?
Stay healthy.
Porzingis played a bunch of games last year. He was pretty good last year.
Great top six, but not after that. Can't see them staying healthy.
Who's they? Tatum and Brown have stayed healthy their whole careers.
Sebastian just came in and said Celtics are 2 injuries away from missing the playoffs altogether. What? Seabass, come on, they're not missing.
You can hate on it all you want, guys. That's fine. And that's a typical sports fan reaction is to hate on a super team. But this is a fucking super team.
Is it?
Oh my God, yes. Drew Holiday is the missing piece. They just got a better version of Marcus Smart. They got the dog they needed. They got a lockdown. I mean, you have a guy who will defend anyone and everyone, and he's pissed off at the Bucks for trading him. He's motivated to go beat Milwaukee. They gave up on him and shipped him out. He's the main competition. You just got all the secrets, everything in that locker room. You got everything. This is a Belichick move. This is phenomenal to go get this guy. Horford is more of an emotional leader than anything else. I'll give you that. But when Big Al's on, Big Al is a huge weapon, in particular in the playoffs, because they see Philadelphia. Celtics aren't losing to Philly with Big Al on the court. Never happened, never will. You've got 2 all-NBA players, and Porzingis is not going to be needed to play more than, 50 games in the regular season? Talk about the playoffs for that guy.
All right.
I think it's losing Robert Williams hurts. There's no debating it, but it is an absolute must move in the wake of the Marcus Smart move. This trade was an absolute must. I love Brad Stevens for doing it. This is what Boston wants. Don't worry about draft picks. Yes, giving up a guy. I mean, Brogdon was going to be gone anyway. You tried trading Brogdon, and he got thrown back because of injury. Robert Williams, Time Lord's phenomenal. It stinks that you lost Time Lord. But it's not like it's irreplaceable.
Time Lord?
Yeah, that's his nickname.
That's what they call him?
Yeah, because he's late all the time.
Oh, I thought he might have been. Is that a Star Wars character? Or they just
no, it's a Marvel character.
It's a Marvel character?
Yeah.
Time Lord.
Mm-hmm.
What is his special power?
I forget. You're making me go into my nerd bag here.
I thought you might have it right in your back pocket. That's why I asked. I don't know.
Time Lord in Marvel, Time Lord, advanced civilization of Earth by time. He's one of the 3 Creaton races. They can control time.
Oh,
I don't know, but that's because he was always late. So
I love that. That's pretty good.
that's what he was time. He wanted to control time. Basically, it was his thing.
I mean, the books have to move it because of someone may actually have bet it because they weren't the favorite.
Right.
Over Milwaukee. Now co-favorites, whatever. That's fine. I don't know. I'll be interested to see. Like Chef Benny asked a good question too. Do they can they cruise to the 4th or 5th seed and then just turn it on?
Yes.
Oh,
But they won't.
okay.
They can, but they won't. I mean, you want must-see TV.
Is this
when
do you have the coach to do this? Does everything's fine?
Missoula's fine. I don't have a problem with Joe
Oh,
Missoula. He's
okay.
young and unproven, untested. I'll give you all that. But I thought he learned a lot. He's willing to say he learned a lot on the defensively. Okay. What happened? I mean, look, I would have fired him if they'd gotten swept by the Heat. I would have fired him. But they didn't get swept. He forced the game 7. So that showed me something. That showed me some moxie. That showed me some buy-in. That showed me some toughness. They just went down 3-0. It just never should have happened. But now you get 2 different pieces. Get your popcorn ready. Wednesday, November 22nd, Boston hosting Milwaukee on ESPN. Night before Thanksgiving. Night before. I might actually be home for that. I might have to go to that game.
Oh, God.
I might need to go to that game. Holy mother. Get your popcorn ready for that brawl. That's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for this basketball season. This is going to be so
awesome.
fun. Milwaukee
Guys,
and Boston.
If you don't watch the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, please. Stay for BVB bonus time. But this is what happened last year when we talked about the Bruins every day for 9 months, and then they lost, and they all came after my guy here, Perrault, now the Celtics, and they got their guy, and they're a super team and making Belichick moves and all this other stuff. This is great. You're just fanning all the flames for all the people to be.
It's the truth. It's because everyone already roots against the Celtics.
Oh God,
you got 17 titles. Everyone's rooting against them.
Oh, here we go.
That's 17. 17.
Oh,
this is what it is. You want to talk about the original Boston superpower?
When's the last time
the Boston won? 2008. But the last superpower, the first
2008.
The first superpower
2008.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
I've seen 4 in my lifetime. I've seen 4 championships since I've been alive. I got 4. How many does Philly have? Not my lifetime. Oh, I guess one of my 84. You have one in my time. They have 1. Philly has 1. Okay. Not my recent memory.
That's all they have.
Yeah. Okay. So like the original Boston Power, the original team that started the whole damn thing when Boston domination
was the only team you had for a while.
Man, the Bruins are
sporadic.
Yeah, that's an original 6 teams. So I mean, the Bruins are the Bruins, but
they didn't win championship stuff for a while.
No, I mean, I've seen one of those. I've only seen one in my life in 2011, right. but I've seen one, and I would love to see the Bruins do damage this year. I don't know how good Boston will be in terms of the retirements. You're losing, key core fundamental, building block talent to retirement, but we'll see what Boston looks like going forward with the Bruins. But the Celtics are, yeah, they're going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Bees parlay is back. Oh,
yeah, it is, baby. Petty. Let's go. Season Bees parlay is back. I love it. Absolutely. It's great. Because you know who's not back? James Harden. Because Fat Boy ain't showing up to Sixers Media Day because he wants to be traded. This guy's going to destroy the entire year for Philadelphia. You know that, right? This is awful.
I can't say he's wrong.
Who, Harden or me?
No, Harden. They told him he was getting traded.
He went to China and called the GM a liar. I
mean, wherever he went to do it.
No, China hates him. Yeah. Daryl Morey is the guy that China wants to kill because of his comments on Twitter about Taiwan. He goes to that country and calls the guy a liar. That was coordinated. That was on purpose.
Crunchy Beaver said, Boston Power, good Lord have mercy. I'm going to go broke on super chats, rubbing it in Matt's face.
Good.
I love
what?
Crunchy.
Every loss? What? So they lose 10 games in the regular season.
Oh, stop. They're not winning 70 games. What's wrong with
the number is 55 and a half. 55 and a half is their number. It's really low.
I mean, that's low.
55 is low.
Like 2 teams win over that every year.
Boston did it last year.
They were good last year.
That's I don't know what are we doing? That's I'm completely like, wait, what? How are we? Why? It should be 60 or 59.
Oh, God. Here we go. Making numbers again. What are
They
you
won
talking
57 last year.
about? Yeah.
Milwaukee won 58. And Boston went to that weird stretch. They were cold and banged up, and everybody was worried about them.
Would you bet them to be the team with the most regular season wins?
No. No, I would not.
You can bet.
I would not. And I don't want that mantra. After the Bruins last year, I don't want that.
Right. 55 plus wins.
They were number 2 last year, though. Bucks were 1, Celtics were 2.
Right. And that's the way the numbers are right now. The odds are the same way with the Suns as the third choice. Wow.
I don't know. Suns won 45 games last year. Yeah.
Oh,
Nuggets won 53 and won it all. So
is the NBA more popular in the off season?
No.
We'll discuss that in BBB
No.
time.
No, I disagree with that. For you guys who are live on YouTube and Twitter, do not move. For you guys who are on Sports Grid and SiriusXM, thank you for being here. We'll be back tomorrow for a replay, same place, same time. For those of you who are live, you get bonus time. Okay, that's what? The NBA more popular in the offseason than the regular season? No, not even close.
That's a valid point.
No, it has a lot of it. There's a lot of attention to it. The best off season is NBA off season of the 4 sports. Yes.
It used to be baseball. I used to love the baseball off season.
Yeah, it's not. There's no more hot stove really anymore. Not the way it used to be.
It's not.
Yeah. You don't see the trades and the moves and everything else. That's gone on before. One quick sports gambling story. Caesar's rolling out fire bets, what they're calling it.
I've been watching them. We've had them here.
Fire bets?
Yeah.
Okay. On
It's
the app?
absurd. Yeah.
Do they make it? What does it look like when it comes out? What does it look like?
There's a icon at the top of your app that says fire bets with the flames.
Okay.
Then you push it and it has all the in-game stuff, the micro betting stuff. Like it's almost impossible to get a bet.
Okay.
At least so far.
Okay.
I was like, what is this? I like to just explore without being told when I get on an app.
Right.
And just because I know what goes into put that button there and I know what's going on the back. So I'm like, I don't want to know that they're doing it before I see it. Like I just want to see it because I would be immediately going to the developer. You probably shouldn't have this. Why is it doing this? How am I going to get the line to show this way so they can bet it? I need them to get the bet through. It sounds like a really not a welcome thing. What's the word I'm using? It's another expansion of betting. Yes.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to work.
Okay. By the way, the big news today, besides the trade, is that Kevin Durant just announced he's playing in the Olympics in 2024.
Wow.
So, yeah, Kevin Durant.
When is that?
2024.
No. But are they playing it? They're not playing it in. I mean, that won't
Next
be
summer.
during the season. So
No, next summer. Summer Olympics. Next summer, Paris.
Okay. It's not September.
No, it's in like May or June.
Okay. Oh, good.
It's a summer
Olympics.
Olympics.
No, it can't be during the playoffs.
It's right after the NBA finals are over. They would go right from the NBA finals right to Paris to play.
Huh.
But Kevin Durant just committed to it, so it's pretty big news for Team USA. Book it. Only got 2 bets for you because it's small day. We'll get more into it later. But Seattle minus 1.5 against the Giants. Betting or booking it?
I think they win this game. Sorry, Z. We're rooting for Z, but I think that I'd say bet it. I don't care if it's square, it's sharp, it's all that other shit. I don't care.
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
Giants
and then over 47.
Bet it too.
Okay. Yeah, I like that as well. There are no super chats today, so we can go right into favorite thing about today is what?
Awesome. Let me see. I want to read it because I got the text yesterday and I said, This is my favorite thing about today, but today's Sunday, so I'm going to save this for my favorite thing about today on Monday. This is from Michaela, a girl that I coached in softball, that her and Kylie were like the pitchers and they played the outfield. And she's that kid that you want on your team. Just, she worked hard. She did this. She came to us. This is great. OMG, hey, y'all. We had our first 2 fall games today, and my coach was complimenting how I played outfield and said, quote, whoever coached this kid did an amazing job.
Oh,
and I owe it all to you guys. She sent that to me and Coach Eric, who were her
nice.
coaches for 6 years. And, I replied back, and Coach Eric replied back with, I remember playing against you in rec. We hit a ball to center, and your first step was noticeable. As we worked through travel ball, your arm got stronger, your angles got better, and your brain got smarter. Not bad for an ex-cheerleader.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Like, that's how she came to us. Like,
Nice.
she came from competitive cheerleading, and her dad is a hitting coach here in town, and went through a messy situation, divorce like you did.
Mm-hmm.
His son is going to be a freshman at Hofstra.
Nice.
His daughter, Michaela, is at Felician in New Jersey. So they
Nice.
live now 15 minutes apart back there.
Wow.
They're both still playing ball. And that's what Kylie may end up going back there. But you want to talk about like a random Sunday text that
Brighten your
came
day.
in. And yeah, and all my response was like, you did the work. Thank you for being coachable. And for the text, you made my day. Love you, Mick. That's what I sent her. You don't realize, as a dad, a parent, a brother, a spouse, sometimes you don't think nobody's listening while you're talking, and you don't know what the results are.
Fair.
And I mean, we ain't played together with Mick. She's starting her sophomore year. And you get a text like that and you go, I'm glad I did what I did. And I'm glad that like somebody just the little bit of a oomph out of nowhere, I don't know, made me feel good. It made me realize, like, again, just another message. If you believe in what you're doing and you don't ask for nothing, if you get anything like that kind of feedback, or you put someone in a position where they're able to thank you later, you're doing the right thing. Just keep showing up and doing it. Always forward, never straight.
Amen to that. My favorite thing happened over the weekend, but it kind of carries over. It's going to carry over until the next 2 weeks because it's always fun when friends do crazy things. So Dan Bach, who I don't think we've had Bach on the show before, have we? I don't think Bach's been
not.
I don't think Bach's been on BVB, but
I did a show with Bach for 6 months.
I worked with Bach for 4 years.
Right.
Dan was the midday show at WUMP, the UMP in Huntsville. I was the morning show. Dan went to college, or the same college, I should say, as Doug Franz, who now is in Arizona. Doug was the afternoon drive show. Dan and I don't know how, we both were similar age, very awkward place to live for us, as being he was from Ohio, I was from Boston. So we hung out a lot, did a lot of fun things together. And he sent me a text on Saturday night and he said, do you have tickets to go see U2 at the Sphere yet? And I said, no, I'm hoping to get it on the secondary market at some point after the first couple of weeks, after the first wave dies down. The secondary ticket market is ridiculous right now to go to it. And he goes, don't worry about it. I got you. I'm like, what do you mean you got me? He's like, I have a ticket for you. I said, I'll be in town for G2E. You can come with, I got a ticket for you. He said, I know how much U2 means to you. I got you. I was like, that's crazy. One, that you remember that, because Octum Baby, the album that U2 is playing at the Sphere, start to finish, is the most influential album of my life. Like, I still listen to this probably once a month. I listen to the album, and it means like the world to me. And I never shut up about U2, talking about U2, and that stuck in Dan's head. And so Dan was like, I got you. So you never know. One phone call, one text message, random life-altering things. And I cannot wait to see the Sphere. I cannot wait to take videos and pictures and tweet the hell out of it, because one, it's one of my favorite bands of all time, but the Sphere on the inside is stupid.
Yeah.
The videos that have come out of it. It might be the best music venue ever built in mankind history.
This is what people are saying.
Yeah.
We had a couple friends of the show. The guy that runs the @1992 Pirates Twitter.
Yeah.
He flew in Friday morning, went to the show Friday night, and flew out Saturday morning from Pittsburgh. That's like, people are doing that for this show.
Yep.
And then Sarah, who produces that show in Washington, D.C.,
Yep.
did the same thing. She flew in Saturday, went to the show, and I got a text like she was barely awake. She's like, hey, what are you going to any books today for the early games? And I was like, I wasn't planning on it. Why? She's like, oh, I'm in town. I said, oh. She goes, I just, want to meet you if you get a chance. I'm like, all right, well, give me a couple hours. She goes, I'm on a plane at 2:00. So what do you mean? She goes, I came in just for that U2 show at the Sphere. Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh for less. She was here for 28 hours. He was here for 26.
Dang.
Just to see the show.
It's worth it. I mean,
so
look, for people of my age, of our age, in these where we are. I mean, U2, some people have very strong feelings about U2 and they hate U2, and that's I totally understand it to me. But being a Boston Irishman, small amount of Irish, 5%, but I'm Irish. Man, that was the band that my uncle got me into. I mean, I can't tell you how many nights I sat there. My uncle, who's a teacher at Berkeley, in San Francisco, biggest influence in my life. The reason why I pursued radio, the reason why I was willing to leave and go on my own, was because of my uncle and basically the things that he was my pseudo dad, even though he wasn't that much older than me. But the idea of chasing my dreams and going after passion and not thinking and worrying about what someone would say about you going and doing something unusual, and listening to the voice in your head, listening to that thing that says, this is what you're supposed to do it, regardless of the difficulties placed in front of you, whether it be geography, money, life, whatever it might be. And I went through all of those things by going to Virginia, Alabama, and so on. U2 was always the constant. And my uncle and I have never seen U2 together. And I'm going to go to this show and I'm going to figure out a way to go see U2 again, go see the show twice. I'm obviously taking Dan up on the offer because it's going to be unbelievable, but I also want to see it again at some point and have my uncle come over from California and go to see U2 together, because I've never seen U2 with him. So
there you go.
Very, very cool. Very cool stuff. And I just want to say thank you publicly to Bach, because that made my weekend. I was like, are you kidding me?
You came over on Saturday. You were like a little kid. You're like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm like, when's the show? This is a couple weeks.
2 weeks.
You
so
literally were talking so fast that I thought you might have been impaired. Like I was like,
I was so excited. I was still so excited. I'm still so excited about it. I cannot wait to go in there.
After you left, she's like, Jess said, he really likes you too. I'm like, did you see him? Like he's couldn't talking like a little kid. So it was funny. I got to read this Crunchy Beaver, this super chat. He just dropped a 20 in there.
Okay.
It says, let's let the beaver out of the bag.
Oh,
I'm a Cowboys fan and an Oregon State Beavers fan.
There we go.
I take pride in knowing that my Cowgirl playoff chokers handed the hoodie his ass yesterday. Don't worry, I'll be crying Sunday night. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
I have a lot of look ahead stuffs, but yeah, Dallas goes to San Francisco this week.
No, Crunchy, I'll take this. U2 after Rattle and Hum is overrated, just like the Patriots after Brady left. I will, you and I one day will sit down, Crunchy, and I'm going to explain to you the fundamental musical principle that Brian Eno, when they sat down to do Octum Baby, as to how big of a musical and philosophical switch that was in modern music. I hated Octum Baby the first time I heard it. I hated it for almost a year. I called it the worst album. I was furious with it until I grew up and I got it. Started listening to it and I understood what it was and the switch, the change in what they were doing. Octum Baby today could come out today and be a top 10 album. That's how good that album is. It has the best lasting musical staying power of any album U2 has created. It's also their best album that they ever created. And that's with Joshua Tree. That's with Rattle and Hum, which was a live album, by the way, not recorded. It was not a recorded studio album. That's a live album. But I mean, boy, you can go through all of it. Joshua Tree, Unforgettable Fire, all the albums. I love U2, okay? Not a huge fan of pop. It was okay, but pop was eh. That album, you're dead wrong. Octum Baby is maybe the best album ever created. And I know people get very much like, they hear that and they go, what? It's in the conversation. If you go back to 1992, I believe, right? When it came out, and how it's still today, people still listen to it, still can listen to it. And it does not sound anything of an outdated type of record compared to what the Killers, listen to a Killer album and listen to Octum Baby. It's very similar in sound. It's incredible to me how well that album has lasted. What, 30 years? 30 years ago. Stupid.
I'll have to give it another run.
Oh, it's so good. Eron, Sean, me and you, buddy. Yeah. Look at it. Sully. Yes, if you know Brian Eno, he's giving me credit for the Brian Eno. If you know who Brian Eno was the producer who came in, who convinced Bono and The Edge to change their sound to go and create an album of electronic music. And I was like everybody else in the 90s. Like, I was a grunge guy. I was Nirvana. I was Pearl Jam. I was listening to, these incredible guitar heavy records.
Yep.
And then Octum Baby came out and it was a complete deviation of all of that. And everybody was like, electronic music isn't real music. I mean, there was a time, kids, that a DJ that you would go and listen to, we would think that guy's a tool. Like, we thought people who sampled music weren't really artists. There were rappers that got ripped all the time. I mean, our dads would go and listen to like a rap song and be like, oh, they ripped off a 1950s song. That's not real. Yeah, or whatever, right? Like, that's not real music. You're stealing somebody else's hook to make your song work. Like, there was a time when that was considered to be like really not a cool thing to do. Right. And over time, things change and blah, blah, blah. So I love it. I could talk 23 hours on music. Back tomorrow.
Right now, we're done.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe, all their fun stuff. Dave, Matt, back tomorrow for a Tuesday.